follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. Joy is such an expansive subject, and I want to caveat this by saying that any state that we want to create, we have the power to create. We have the power to change our states. We have the power to really express how we want to be, and invariably it just takes a little bit of awareness and a little bit of passion. We're all aware of what's going on in the world, and I want to caveat this sort of short kind of conversation around joy with the fact that we can only control where we're at any time. And so this isn't a session to spiritually bypass things that go on, because things are going on in our world all the time. But I am just here to say that there are always ways of connecting with joy and other states that we want to call in, we want to live in throughout our day, even if it's just for 10 minutes, even if it is just a reprieve from the world, from the news, from whatever's going on in your world. So that's where I'm coming from today. I hope you will join me. Benefits of connecting with joy. So when we are in joy, when we're surrounding ourselves with things that light us up, when we feel lit up from the inside because we're doing something that we love, that we're really passionate about, it raises our energy, it raises our frequency, it raises our vibration, whatever language you want to put it into. And as we get to that elevated state, we're going to find that we attract more things into our life. We're going to become a magnet by default. So you might notice that if perhaps in past events or past experiences, if you've been in a more difficult time in life, then invariably you can end up attracting more of similar. And when you're in a sort of higher vibration, and when things are really in flow and you're feeling joyous, you attract things at that level. Too many hands blowing around. So when you're joyful and you radiate positive energy, it's going to impact not only your own well-being, but also it's going to ripple out and affect those around you. And you don't have to do anything in terms of bringing that to other people. It's just being who you are and just being in a state of, when you're feeling in that state of utter joy or happiness or whatever you want to term it. Frequency. So when we're in a state of joy, our frequency raises. And so then we become a magnet, as I was just saying, and we attract all the good things towards us. And we become more in alignment with our inner self. So experiencing joy often reflects a sense of alignment with your inner self, in your spiritual essence, basically. You're just being this magnet for life. And being in joy can or will essentially help us in connecting to a higher power, whatever your belief system is. So it'll help you more easily calling in your higher self, working with your higher self, or the divine. Again, whatever terminology works for you. Being in a state of joy or connecting to joy is often linked to gratitude. And just the more we're in gratitude, the more we have joy. We can bring in joy through gratitude. And being in that space of gratitude for what we have at the moment is what is literally can be a spiritual experience in itself. I think the two are very closely linked. And being in joy can obviously encourage or bring about inner peace, tranquility, might encourage deeper spiritual practices such as meditation or prayer, just being in a space where you feel joy and just allowing yourself to feel that. And an elevation of consciousness. So being in joy is by default going to elevate your consciousness and will enable you to view the world from a higher, more enlightened perspective. Being in joy also brings about compassion and love, being compassionate for yourself first and foremost, and bringing that love in for yourself, and then it's going to radiate out to people around you, loved ones, people in the nearest cafe, wherever you might be. And then the good old one that I always refer back to, because it's never going to go away, is living in the present moment. The more you're in the present moment, the more you're going to experience joy. And the more you experience joy, the more you're going to connect with all of these wonderful things. So the constant practice of returning home to yourself, being in the present moment, which allows you to experience the sacredness of each moment. Every moment is a gift, even if sometimes it doesn't feel that way. I promise you it's a gift. So when you feel good, you give off a presence of joy that can elevate everyone around you. Good old Gabrielle Bernstein, if you know of her and her work. Just allowing yourself to experience joy and be in joy without any judgment around it is going to, by default, support those around you and just elevate other people as you go. So how to cultivate daily joy? You can make a conscious choice every day. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can just be when you wake up in the morning, choosing that today is going to be a good day. And whether that means you're going to look for the good in every day, or in that day as you go about that day, or whether you're just setting an intention, you can literally just choose, today I'm going to feel joy, I'm going to be in joy, or whatever that state might be for you. And celebrate those small moments. So finding the joy in everyday activities, whatever they might be for you. Sunlight on your skin, always one for me. The sound of laughter, a really good, beautiful coffee first thing in the morning. All of those small things build up into the big, but also when you're in those small moments and you're celebrating those small moments, you're back in the present moment. You are here now. And that's where the magic happens. Being in gratitude for all the amazing things you have in your life. And that is also as equally important for the small things. So the beautiful cup of coffee, saying good morning to people and being grateful that they smile at you in return, whatever it might be. You can also cultivate joy by getting into the body, always getting into the body, having a good shake or a dance, having a tap, just releasing stuff. So just asking for anything that needs to be released, because you're creating space to call in a joyous moment or joy for you today. Pursuing your passions. So making time for activities and hobbies that you are passionate about. That is by default always going to raise your vibration. It's always going to get you into joy. And it's about being really honest with yourself as to what those things really are as well. And not doing them because it's what you think everybody wants you to be doing or what is perceived as looking good. It's like really digging down. What were you passionate about as a child? What made your heart sing when you were a child? It might be a dance class, it might be painting, it could be anything. But doing those things, doing the things that you love, especially if you can do them or weave them into your job, your career, it's always going to be a mood booster. We like mood boosters as opposed to mood hoovers around here. Meditation, or to meditate, doesn't have to be a big thing. Meditation can be going for a walk and just being in a space of asking to see what will bring you joy today. And that could be a wonderful bird, it could be the sunshine, it could be running into an old friend, who knows? Being curious on the journey. So using meditation to elevate your state, whether that's walking meditation, yoga, or listening to a guided meditation of some description, whatever works for you. and being in the energy of generosity and acts of kindness. So engaging in acts of kindness and helping others by default increases feelings of joy and connection with others as well, which is one of the most important things we need as humans. So many people experience joy when they see positive impact of their actions on others. So it can be a really simple thing, paying it forward, acts of kindness, paying it forward, pay for somebody's coffee, the person behind you that you don't know in a coffee shop if you're feeling that way inclined, volunteering, whatever it is that's an act of kindness for you, or just being in that energy of giving because you can. And that doesn't have to be financially, it can literally just be with your energy, holding space for people, cooking a meal for somebody if they need it, whatever it looks like for you. And daily joy, connecting with nature, always going to elevate. Connecting with nature, being in nature, communing with nature. Oh. Where did I get to? Positive influences, choosing to be around people and places that uplift and inspire you. Again, this isn't going to be all day, every day, but it could just be if you're having a busy day at work or you're feeling stressed. It's like, how do I get back into my joy? What do I do? How do I get back into my joy? Oh, I'm going to go to have lunch with a friend, or whatever it might be. I'm going to go and sit in a cafe and talk to the barista I know there. Guilty. And being conscious of what you consume in terms of reading material, internet stuff, the news, all of those. Just being conscious of what's landing within your body at any time. Abraham Hicks, I read Esther Hicks's books many moons ago, and one thing that always stuck with me was her writings around reach for the next best feeling. So if you're feeling okay, but you want to feel better, it's like, okay, what's the next feeling I can reach for? What's, how can I make myself feel just that next step in that better energy, or that higher energy, or whatever terminology you like to use. So reaching for the next best feeling. And that was related to the media and what we consume and what we're subjected to daily, even if it's on billboards or wherever it is. How is that making me feel in my body? I have a quite an interesting bodily response now to social media. I can be on it for a bit and I'm scrolling, and then suddenly I start to feel really sort of a bit icky and a bit kind of just a bit sick, whatever, a bit sick. And I'm like, oh, you're doom scrolling. Put down your phone, get out in nature, make a cup of coffee, have a dance, whatever it is. So it's being conscious of your consciousness to a degree as well, and having an awareness around how you're feeling at any given time and where your mood level is. Even if you do it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really good, where am I? Well, I'm on a 4. Okay, well, I want to get out to a 6, so I'm going to go and get out and take a walk, or I'm going to play with the dog, or I'm going to dance, whatever it is. So yeah, always check back in with yourself. Present moment, obviously, goes without saying. Be in the present moment as much as possible, and in being in that present moment, be present in that present moment. So that could be just having an awareness, 5 things that you see, 5 things that you hear, smell, etc. It's not quite the same if you're in that present moment on your phone scrolling. Guilty sometimes. We are only human. So being in that present moment and recognizing what is joyous around you in that present moment. And maybe connecting with your inner child. How did the younger you, what brought the young you joy? What was it? I mean, for me, I think as examples, I used to love swings. Still love a swing now, but of course I have to jump on a kid's swing, which means wedging my bottom in between the metal, which isn't always the comfiest, but I will still do it because I just love it. And when I do that, it's like connecting back to that moment of utter pleasure. What else? In a child, me, ice cream. Oh my God, in the summer, beautiful. I'm just going to walk down to a local ice cream place I have. It's like in the moment with a beautiful ice cream in the sunshine. What could be nicer? It's just utter joy, and it's so simple, So simple. So yeah, what did the younger you do? What sparked joy in that younger you? I know people that used to make a lot of, like, a good friend of mine, big, like, Lego kit maker, now sort of builds beautiful little balsa wood houses, properties, whatever. So yeah, find what it is that, or remind yourself of what brought joy as a child. And then just some simple journal practicing. I can't remember when it was now. It was either last week or the week before. Anyway, it'll be on Odyssey, the platform, but about morning routines, and whether you have a morning routine, whether you allow yourself a morning routine. But if you can, in the morning, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, being in that space of choosing, how do I want my day to feel? How do I bring joy into my world today? So maybe you can give yourself a 5-minute window, a 10-minute window in between hair drying the dog and looking after the kids and doing whatever it is you need to do, maybe with a cup of coffee, just to journal. And if you don't have time to journal, maybe you can just set an intention for how you want the day to look. But some journaling questions might be, what am I grateful for in this new day? And that could be really simple. Nice cup of coffee, or I'm very grateful that I'm here having this human experience. Yeah, what might you note about that? And then, of course, what can I look forward to today that brings me joy? You'll have a diary with things in it, I imagine, and it's looking for the joy in every little thing, even if it's just that you get to chat to a friend in your coffee break, whatever it might be. And yeah, if you think you can't find something within your day, when you look at your schedule for the day, look for things to add into that day that bring joy. So maybe you might carve out some time to read a book for 10 minutes, or you might walk barefoot in the grass, or make a phone call to somebody you've not spoken to for ages. Anything that just lifts your vibration and makes you feel good. Because what's not to love, right? And then what is my intention for today in terms of finding joy and happiness? So setting an intention for the day, such as, I intend to find joy in the simple moments, or I intend to stay present and positive. It's just a really nice little thing to kind of program your brain or your mind, beginning part of the day. You sort of, if you've written down, say, for example, 3 things that you're grateful for within your day, your mind or your brain goes looking for these things throughout the day, which is a really nice way of going about life. You don't perhaps realize you're doing it, and suddenly you're like, oh, that was my intention this morning. My intention was to find joy in the simple moments, and I've just done that on a park bench at lunchtime with a beautiful magazine, as an example. When I am connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. We attract from the universe regardless, but when we are at a higher vibration, when we feel in joy, when we're in our joy, when we're embodying our joy, when we're smiling at those we pass by, when we're saying good morning, or whatever it is for you, you'll notice that by default, people will respond to you in different ways. Things will start coming to you in different ways. I had a beautiful experience today where I popped into a shop a friend of mine owns, and I hadn't seen her for ages. And I just went in and I gave her a big hug and was like, so nice to see you. And I was in there for 30 seconds and she said to me, do you like sunflowers? I've got some sunflowers that I need to give to somebody and they're for you. And I came out with 2 huge big bunches of sunflowers. Beautiful, very grateful. The universe reflects back where you're at, and you can always up level the state. You can always choose. So for those of you that are here now, if you would like to join me, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to do a little meditation which will support you in connecting to joy. There might be a little bit of hypnotherapy woven in. It's perfectly safe. You have complete free will at any time. I'm not dangling any pendulums or anything. It's mostly a meditation, but there's a few little hypnotherapy techniques in it. So if you are willing to join, and if you're watching this in a replay, make sure you're somewhere quiet, maybe close a door or a window, and just settle into where you are. Just noticing the peace around you. Just gifting yourself this time now. Just to have this experience of connecting to your joy. And we're just going to start by noticing the breath, where it might be in the body right now. Just having an awareness around how you're breathing. Whether you need to breathe a little bit deeper. Whether you need to do a large exhale just to shake off the day. Oh. Noticing where you are. Noticing how supported you are. Supported in the space. Supported under your body. And just setting the intention now to gift yourself this little bit of time as we just explore joy. So gently dropping into your heart space now. And maybe noticing if there's a colour or a texture to your heart. How it feels to you today. How expansive it feels. And maybe if it's a colour and that colour wants to expand, just allow it to do so now, as it will. Noticing how you're here, how you're present. And I would just ask you, or just ask your subconscious mind now as you rest here gently, if you could travel back to an event where you experienced real joy, a time in your life where you really felt the power of joy. And just be curious. There might be something that drops straight in now. It may be the most obscure of memories. Just a time in your past where you can recall experiencing real joy. And if you could take yourself there now, all the way back to this joyful, positive experience, all the way back, as far back as you need to go. And I don't know how far back that might be, but you do. And it's safe and it's comfortable to return back to this memory. So as you float back to it, and when you are above it, you can just look down into that memory, that joyous time, and see what's going on down there in that joyous event. And if you could imagine going down back into that event, looking at that event through your own eyes and noticing what's going on, noticing what the joy is that's being sparked in that memory. Notice how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you might be behaving. Noticing all the things around you that make this event so joyous to you. Maybe there are smells, maybe there are people, loved ones, maybe there's nature, pets, all of the things that make this event so joyous for you to recall. And you might notice how this feels in your body. And if there was a place in your body where this joyous feeling resides, maybe you can feel that now. Just really enjoying that feeling in your body and allowing it to expand in whatever way it would do this. Maybe it gets brighter and brighter. Maybe it gets larger and larger. Maybe it's both. Just really enjoying returning to that event and being you. So that if your subconscious mind could notice all the differences that make the difference, storing them inside you, deep inside your body, so that from today you have access to all the things you need to be joyous whenever you choose. Just by returning to this event, returning to this feeling within your body. Maybe the feeling has a colour. Maybe it reminds you of something or someone. And in whatever way you would imagine taking those things from this event and storing them somewhere safe so they're easy to recall. And as you do, gently saying goodbye to this event, knowing that you can return to it at any point, and allow yourself to float all the way back, bringing with it all those good feelings, all those joyous feelings. As you gently float back towards now. And as you land back to now, noticing how your breath feels in your body, noticing any sensations, any feelings, being aware that you're back in the present moment, having gifted yourself this experience of connecting to joy. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. I hope that you all got to experience some joy, and you can experience it whenever you choose. And maybe there's just an anchor within your heart. Maybe you can stop throughout your day and ask, how do I feel on the joy stakes? Where am I on the joy scale, on the scale of 1 to 10? And what do I need to maybe feel more joy? And it only has to be a simple tweak. So thank you for being here. Those people that are on the live, I will take any questions once I press stop on the recording, and anybody that watches this on the replay, if you have any questions or would like to talk to me about this more, please do reach out. There will be an email via Odyssey, or you can contact me on social media, etc. But thank you for being here.